Good morning. Good morning, everybody. What's up? What's up? What's up? Good morning. Sanar, good to see you. Where you been? How's everything going, Nar? Um, Nene Daniels, good morning. Good to see you this morning. Hopefully, all of you are subscribed to my YouTube channel. Please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's really very important to me. Um, just some goals that we have, some things that we need to accomplish. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel. We have gone, man, we're taking great strides. For instance, there's so much technology that is out. Right now, I am streaming on 5 different platforms at the same time. So there's Delta Blake. What's up, lady? So there is the YouTube channel. It's Terrance Pickett's Coffee Time. Make sure you subscribe to that. Hit the bell so you'll know when we go live. Also, we're streaming live right now on Periscope, YouTube. Of course, my main page, Terrance Pickett. Nene, thank you so much. Pretty Black, what's up? Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Pretty Black. We're streaming through my main Facebook page. We're also streaming. I have a fan Facebook page, and it's Terrance Pickett's Coffee Time as well. So there are about 5 or 6 platforms that we're streaming through right now live. So you can catch us some of everywhere. And the engineers are in the process of setting up Twitter. We'll be able to stream through Twitter as well. And the reason we're doing so many at the same time is we've really grown. I'm grateful for that. And we're preparing because I told them I do not want to record. So we've already sent in the first show for Coffee Time that's going to show up on Sony. God's blessed us with a Sony platform, and I'm grateful for that. That's major. I'm also I'm debating about there's a show that's coming on BET. I was offered to be the co-host. I'm debating whether I should take the gig or not because it does not match my brand. Doesn't match my brand, but it is a conversation that needs to be had. So thinking about that as well. So there are a lot of things that are moving in the right direction or in the direction that I had planned. And just, man, just crazy favor, great people who believe in me, who are supporting me, and that includes you. So I want to take the first part of the morning and just say thank you for that. I want to talk about don't discredit your ability. Don't discredit your ability. Make sure, again, you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Subscribe to it and hit the bell. I appreciate it. So there's this, there's 2 sides of what I want to talk to. I want to talk to, we are told to be confident, right? We're told to believe in ourselves, be confident. You've got to add value to yourself. But then we're told, be humble, be meek, don't get cocky, and it's almost as if, how do you weigh the two? I was on a job one time. It was a sales job, and at that time I was pretty good at sales, not because I know the techniques of sales. I was pretty good at sales because the same thing I do every day, I did in sales, and that's tell people the benefit, tell them the disadvantages. In other words, tell them the truth. To me, in my opinion, the truth sells itself. So I didn't have to come up with these third-party stories that were lies. I didn't have to come up with these notions of make stuff up to pull people in. I didn't have to do that. Chandra Tor, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Edom Hodges, top of the hour to you. Good morning. Make sure everybody subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please, please subscribe and hit the bell so you'll know when we go live. My YouTube channel is Terrance Pickett's Coffee Time. So I didn't have to come up with all these crazy stuff because generally I wouldn't take a job that, in my opinion, couldn't sell itself. For instance, when I worked for the bank, my first mortgage job, I was selling loans. To me, loans sell themselves. You need money. Janice, Lady Parker, good morning. Dewan McIntyre, good morning. You need money. Who don't need money? So if a person is calling to see about a loan, it's because they have a need. Now I've got to find out what the need is and make our product of the loan match the need. Most people were into, at that time, debt consolidation. It wasn't so much that they needed extra cash. They made good money. They needed to consolidate their debt to try and get it paid off. And they just went the mortgage way to get that done. So in my opinion, I'm not a salesman, but I can sell. Well, I was the best at it. I kid you not. I killed the game. And so much so until people that I work with started hating on me. And I didn't take it personal because I found out they're really not hating on me, because if they were selling as much as I would, they'd be happy for me. Don't expect people who are not on your level to be excited about the progress that's happening in your life. If they're experiencing less than experiences, more than likely, they're not going to be happy more than. Generally speaking, this is one of the reasons why millionaires hang out with millionaires. Millionaires don't really hang out with people who don't have the brains, the intellect to make money on that level, primarily because they know that they will become a target to less than people. Less than people are going to expect you to foot the bill on everything. They're going to expect you to take care of them. They become a liability instead of an asset. So you have to try to hang out with people, befriend people who are on your level, who understand where you are, where you're going, who love you for you and not just for what you have. So when you're at the top of a game or you're at the top of a position, because this particular job, I was number one all the time. The only time I fell to number two or number three, I don't think I ever got below number three, is when I took time off from work. And they had the advantage because the days that I was out, they were selling. And in those cases, I come back my first day and beat them. What it would take them a week to do, I could do in a day. And let me tell you how. A lot of people say, well, that's the favor of God on your life. It's not. It's not the favor of God. It's skill and ability. What people do is, so they don't have to increase their knowledge and understanding and work on their craft, they pray for an advantage. Well, that's witchcraft. God's not going to give you an advantage over someone who's worked on their skill, who's worked on their craft, who's spent time learning and developing their ability to become good at what they do. And you think you're going to go in a prayer room and pray and put a cross on your head and come out. Now, all of a sudden, you anointed. I'm anointed to win. He's not going to give you an advantage like that. I promise you. If he was, it would be done because you done already prayed. That's not how it works. Rhonda Oliver, good morning to you. You all invite somebody to share. That's not how it works. You cannot manipulate prayer to supplement your lack of skill. If you want to win, winning requires skillfulness. In other words, you got to work on your craft. You got to work on what you do. You've got to fine tune how you do it. You've got to be exposed. You've got to educate yourself. You've got to get around an environment that is conducive for your learning ability in order to get ahead. When you're skillful, you're promoted. So you can't go in the prayer room and pray to be anointed to increase primarily because you think it's time. It's time. It's time for a change. You can't get in a prayer line and they spit oil or Kool-Aid or whatever they land on you and you get ahead. That's not how this works. You can't give the preacher $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, sell your car, your house, sell the goldfish, take the money, lay at his feet, and all of a sudden God's going to increase your life. It's not how it works, y'all. It's not how it works. And for so long, church world has been manipulating people into telling them that the blessing was in their giving. No, the giving is one aspect of the blessing, but the blessing spreads out a multiplicity of ways. You've got to work, network, in order to build your net worth. You got to work on your skill. Janice Lady Parker, what do them eyes mean? Edith Hodges, that's right. Faith without works is dead. You can't say you believe and you're not putting action to what you say you believe. So promotion comes from God to those who are skillful and busy. Now, this morning we're talking about don't discredit your ability. The reason people discredit who they are is in most cases they've not taken the time to build it. So they don't necessarily have, in some cases, not everyone, they don't have an appreciation for what they did not build. Whatever has cost you time and space and have taken up or consumed a great deal of your mentality to perfect, you appreciate. And you're not going to appreciate putting 32,000 hours into a craft to finally get the craft, understand the craft, perfect the craft, and then someone comes on the job, you're up for promotion, and because they're related to someone in management, they get the promotion over you when you put the time in. You wouldn't appreciate that at all. So just speaking on a simple tabletop, just tabletop stuff, you would not like that. So why are you trying to be that and get that? Favor is not fair, but favor does not manipulate to get you ahead. Most times when a person begins to shine in favor, they've got so much seed, work, hours, production. They got so much of that in the ground where it looks as if something miraculous happened. But in actuality, favor is responding to their work ethic, and it could have been in a different geographical location. I've sold my seed in Jacksonville. This is home for me. This is home for me. So most of my work has been done here. I've got some work in Charlotte. I've got work in a few other places that I've lived, Miami. But you got to understand, principle and law follows you no matter where you go. So if I leave Jacksonville and go to Germany, the seed that I planted here, my works are going to follow me to Germany, and things are going to work for me in Germany the way they work in Jacksonville, primarily because I have action. I have product and production. I planted in good soil, so no matter where I go, that tree is going to yield fruit. This is not a situation where you can just take your hands off and God gonna do it. He do it for me. I don't have to work. He works for me. No, you're gonna have to do something. And enough of that type of teaching has gone on to make people feel that God is a genie and he genicizes you. If that's a word. He just smears something on you. You walk in the building, you ain't got no experience, and all of a sudden you're the president of the corporation. If that happens, you won't last, because there's still principle and law that has to work in motion with where you are. Now, so many people work on their craft to become better because we're taught to believe in ourselves. The only reason fear is prevalent, listen, fear is at its largest in your life because there's been a lack of preparation and practice. What you're prepared for and what you practice on, you don't fear it. I'm going to say it again. What you practice and what you prepare for, fear can't get there because you are prepared. Fear generally comes in when we're stepping into the unknown. So let me give you another case in point. I was asked to be this co-host on BET. Now, in being this co-host, I'm prepared as a person, but when you take me to the place where we're shooting, I've never been there. So fear could be attached that I'm in a new environment, but it's not attached to my gift and my ability because I'm very skillful at what I do because I prepared myself. So I can have confidence and fear at the same time. But give me that studio for a couple of hours and let me warm up. Let me get familiar with it. It generally takes me about a minute. I don't care where I am. It takes me about a minute to warm up to that environment. You know, I'll be looking for exits. I want to feel comfortable. I'll be looking at the people that are there. If something break out, should I go through the floor, the roof? Where are the stairs to the attic? You have to be confident in what you do, but that confidence should be breeded from the work that you've put in to become skillful at what you do, right? Your confidence follows your skill set. You can't be a confident muffin. What is a muffin? A muffin doesn't have a brain. How are you confident because you're cute? It looks good. It's sweet. It's desirable. But it contains nothing. A muffin does what your movement tells it to do. It's going to stay on that table and you can yell at it, scream at it. You can be intellectual with it. You can talk psychology, sociology, theology. You can do all the ologies to that muffin. That muffin is not going to move. It's not going to recite. It's not going to talk back. It's not going to do anything. You want that muffin to move, you're going to have to move it. There are so many people that I see. They're cute. Their external is built to perfection. They walk by, they're going to catch your attention. And they may even be sweet. But they don't have the ability to think through process and processes. Their understanding is limited. So while they're cute, you're going to have to carry them every step of the way. Those people now become a hindrance to your rhythm because you're going to have to explain everything that you do. So being around the wrong people will cause you to question your personal identity because they're not contributing anything to who you are. They're also robbing you of what you have. You need to be with like-minded people. There's even it's a passage of scripture that says, let when it was talking about Adam and Eve, they were on the same level. They met each other intellectually. You need to be around people of the same heart, the same mind, and people that can increase your understanding, right? And not insult your intelligence because you guys think on a different wavelength. All of those things go into how you feel about you. Then there are some people that attach themselves to a package that contains nothing, and then the nothing discredits who they are by causing them to question what they've done. You have people that are narcissistic that spend their life tearing you down because they don't want you to get ahead. They know that the biggest threat is you're already smarter than them. So their craft and ability and skill set is to dumb down who you are, to get you second guessing yourself so you don't move any further. So they attack everything you do. They attack who you know. They're very insecure. They're always full of accusations. This is to eat up your peace, get you to question yourself so that there is no upward movement, and it keeps you paralyzed in the same position so you don't move forward. And by them discrediting you, and you keep hearing it over and over again, whatever you hear constantly goes into the ear. It's absorbed by the mind, and it gets into the heart, and what you think you become. So you can't be around people or in circles that constantly questions who you are, what you are, from the bitterness of their position of not having your ability. You've got to be around like-minded, sharp people that love like you love. You cannot allow other people to come around you and question you, accuse you, because they are less than. People have a way of inflicting you with their poison, and because they are insecure, because they're shady, because they're flawed, they want to attach the poison that is in them. They want to attach it to you. So they accuse you out of their own insecurity, and you sit there and take it. And slowly but surely over time, it dumbs you down to be less than what you were. You got to shake these people. You've got to get them from around you, and you've got to get around people that complement the greatness that's in you. Let me tell you one of the easiest way to get into an entanglement and live less than. It's done relationally. We meet people and there's a struggle or a fight between our head and our heart. So your heart, you done fell in love with this jerk. Oh, I love him so much. Because there's been intimacy. Sex is a part of intimacy. There's also been the sharing or the unveiling of the heart. You've opened up and told and shared with this person deep, intimate secrets. So there is a soulless connection. The soul is just your mind, your will, your emotions, how you think, how you feel, and how you choose. So whenever someone you open up to understands how you feel, how you think, and how you choose, they're able to use how you think, how you feel, and how you choose as an advantage to gain an advantage against you. Whenever you open up your heart and you start sharing and having these intimate moments with people, and then you add sex to the equation, sex mixed with heart, mixed with emotions, mixed with self-identity, secrets, builds some level of trust. Now, you share this stuff with this person. They have that power over you because of what you shared that was in you. They take that power. Now they have your heart. But in your mind, they're not contributing to your dreams and where you're going. They don't compliment you. They don't see you for the queen or the king that you are. Whenever you start talking about your dreams and how big you want to do it, and you start mapping it out, they start finding ways to discredit and tell you why you shouldn't. You can't even go to a dinner because they think you're seeing some other dude or some other girl. Well, they are insecure and they are projecting their poison on you to hinder you because they're not better than you. And now the struggle with you is between what you know in your head and what you feel in your heart. So really, to be honest, the only reason you're still there is there's a soulless connection. You gotta cut the tie. Your mind, your will, your emotions, your mind, how you think, your will, how you choose, your emotions, how you feel. We get so emotionally involved with people, so emotionally charged towards a person until we begin to digest the poison that they serve. And here's what happens over time. We become them. We become a mirror of who they are because we inhaled their poison. If you cut the tie to how you feel towards them, you will have no problems leaving them. You would stop discrediting your ability. The only reason you question who you are is somebody told you what you were not, and you believe them. I'm gonna say it again. The only reason you discredit yourself, somebody told you what you were not, and you believe them. Most people that tell you what you are not and they can't see who you are, it's because they are not. And they speak and communicate out of the poison of their own heart. I've got a rule. All my friends are thinkers. I'm gonna say it again. I don't have no friends that aren't thinkers. I don't have any. Now, because I'm smiling, shaking your hand, and taking pictures, that doesn't make us friends. Friendship to me is very personal. It's very intimate. All of us are friends and family by virtue of creation. But the level of that friendship depends on the level of that intimacy. Have I shared any secrets with you? Okay, we're not that close. So when it comes to bringing people in your life, in your circle, people that you're going to do life with, that you need to bounce ideas off, first thing, what have they built that qualifies them to speak to what you're doing? We share our secrets to people because of where our heart is, and our heart disables our thoughts, our mind. So now your brain is paralyzed because you love this person. Love will make a fool out of you. Love gonna get you hurt. Love is what keeps allowing you to stay subjected to the abuse of the person that you're with. And ultimately, it's really not love, it's soul. They've contaminated how you feel, how you think, and how you decide. So if you're really going to stop discrediting yourself, you got to make sure the environment that you're in are conducive for your upbuilding, not your downbringing. In other words, your support system should be supportive. That's what it's. If your support system does more tearing down than they do building, it's not a support system. You built the demolition team. Their job is to tear down everything you try. So most of what we feel about ourselves has everything to do with what we've been exposed to. You don't like you because the person that you settle for don't like them. I'm just saying. And you know I'm telling the truth. So what you have to do uh, is really build. You've got to learn how to build the right people around you that will reinforce to you and remind you who you were created to be. Because sometimes we hit certain spots in our life. We do. We hit certain spots in our life when we question our own greatness. I think that's called being human. Sometimes you pour it out so much to other people that you don't have enough. You don't have enough to build for yourself. Well, you need the right people around you to remind, hey, you bigger than this. I never forget our kid, and I don't normally, I just refer to him as my brother, my friend. But A-Train and I, comedian A-Train, that's my brother. All right. So one day I got in an entanglement. I got in an entanglement with this girl, and she was causing me to really make less than quality decisions for myself. She was causing me to make less because her influence on me, because of the proximity of our relationship, and because we had already had an entanglement. We were sexually involved, intellectually involved, and I started making decisions based on my heart towards her instead of my mind. In my mind, I knew better. In my mind, I knew she had nothing to really offer me long term. But my heart, I had fallen for her. And I never forget, Train watched me interact with her. And one day he pulled me off. We were talking in the parking lot. As a good brother and a good friend would, he began to question some of the decisions. He said, hey, man, and he didn't do it. Some of us have a problem with our tone and our timing. The reason people aren't receiving what you say, you're saying the right thing the wrong way. And you're saying the right thing at the wrong time. So one day he called me and he saw my guard was down. We were talking about some things, and he began to challenge some of the decisions that I had made, some of the decisions that I was making. And he didn't challenge it by saying, you're wrong, like we do, and religious folk do. They want to beat you. No, he calls me to do what I'm good at. What is that? I'm a thinker. So he started asking questions. Hey, why did you make such and such decision? I just want to understand it. And I began to unpack why I made the decision that I made. And there were multiple decisions that I had made in this time. And he says, but is that going to give you the happiness that you're looking for long term? Or is it fulfilling you now to the point that you're so happy now in the moment that you're not even thinking about the future? Well, in that conversation, honestly, y'all, I kid you not, God is my witness. God is my witness. I started to think, man, what is the future? And then he began to, he was very wise in his approach. Then he began to ask, well, why are you with this person? I remember these words. This is what he said. She's not even your type. Think about the type of woman that you really love, T. I'm like, what? Well, I guess you're right. She's not my type. He say, T, you bigger than this. You better than this. I've seen you make such profound decisions to the stuff that you're doing now. It's not you, bro. He was like, it's not even becoming of you. He says, and the only reason I'm talking to you because I'm concerned. He said, because there is so much in you, you cannot afford to just settle for the sake of having. You've got to have someone on your team that's going to contribute to where you're going. And he said some other stuff. Let me tell you the part that stood out. He kept saying, you're better than this. Those words, you're better than this, began to echo in the basement of my soul, I swear to y'all, everything that's in me began to stand in attention. You're better than this. And it was almost like you're resuscitation. You're bringing somebody back to life. Somebody that's collapsed, somebody that's dead. You give them mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. This conversation, this meeting of the minds, this meeting of the hearts, this exchange of wisdom that is in the air that we're exchanging. And it literally began to wake me up. Something clicked up here. I might be a little off. But I tell you, when I come to, I change everything, and I don't wait till tomorrow. I do it immediately. And I kept hearing him say, I think he only said it once or twice, but I heard it at least 400 times. You're better than this. You're better than this. And I start echoing. I say, man, I'm better than this. He said, yes. I said, no, I'm better than this. What am I thinking? And in that moment, the light bulb came on. Things began to click in my head. I left that conversation and started to clean up some stuff and get rid of some people. The first thing I got rid of is the entanglement, because I had become so entangled until it literally began to affect my decision making. I did not feel powerful because I had opened the door and let somebody in who was stealing my power. Who's around you? I'm going to ask you again, who's around you? Are they robbing you? Are they like leeches taking from you? Do you feel drained once they leave? Do you avoid them? Do you look at the phone and feel some kind of way? Are they making you tense, insecure? Do you feel like the king and the queen that you were created to be? Who's around you? Who's ever around you has everything to do with what's in you and how you feel about you. And you will never be able to have the confidence that you're supposed to have and build what you're supposed to have if the environment that you're in is not conducive to that behavior. I'm going to tell you something else. COVID-19 is out, right? When you go to the hospital or they admit you, and I don't want to get into this, but I need you all to pray for my brother, my biological brother. Pray for my brother, please. I'm not going to just pray for my brother. Pray for his healing. They put you on the COVID floor, isolated from everybody. Nobody can come see you. Why? Because if people get around you who have something, they can project it on you, and it could worsen your condition. Here's the other thing. What you have, they want to protect you from giving it to somebody else so it doesn't spread. So there's a form of isolation that happens when you are infected. Now, if you were contaminated in a certain environment, you can't be healed in the environment that you were infected in. So you have to clean your atmosphere, clean your environment, then you have to quarantine. You have to isolate yourself so you can get your health back, your strength back. And that's what some of us fail to do in life. Quarantine. The people that make us sick, we keep going back. You're never going to have belief in yourself and the hope that you're supposed to maintain in order to build the dream that is in your heart if you stay in the environment that made you sick. And let me tell you the entry point for these environments that keeps making you sick. Let me tell you the entry point. It's compromise. You begin to compromise in your heart. Well, it wasn't that bad. Well, they weren't that bad. That's your heart talking to you. Your heart is so attached until it has to reckon within itself a reason why you can go back to the person, to the environment that made you sick. So you start building excuses in your soul to give you permission mentally to operate somewhere where your mind told you you shouldn't have been in the first place. So you start compromising. You start compromising. You're like, man, you know what? Well, they were good with this, or this is why people stay in bad relationships. The sex was good. Or you felt good with their company. Or they offered something to you that you were liking. Now you are attached to them, and your heart keeps crying out for what your mind keeps telling you you should not have. In order for there to be anything healthy, a heart and head, there has to be harmony. There has to be a level of togetherness that your heart has with your head in order for you to produce anything good. If one is lacking, you're not going to be 100% in where or what you have. So you start compromising. Well, I mean, this was good. You know, it's better than, at least I know what I got. And you start coming up with all these excuses to talk yourself into something that your head is telling you, stay away. Remember when they whooped your behind. Remember how they made you feel. Remember how they cheated and how less than. But because time has gone by, you've lost the gravity of the feelings that you had when you were being damaged. And because it felt so good, the feeling now has gained an advantage over the knowledge that you have. So you keep compromising in your soul and going back to the places that infected you. Listen, you're never going to believe in you. You're never going to have the best. You're never going to be in a seat or position to succeed as long as you allow your heart to lie. Man, you got to tell the truth. My heart is lying to me. I want this bad. Sometimes my flesh wants it. Yeah, it does. Sometimes my flesh wants it, and it wants it bad. But I cannot excuse the level of information that I've gained with my mind in regards to the environment that I was in. I was in a relationship one time. I kid you not, y'all. I thought I loved this girl. And the only reason I really felt that I love her, I connected to her on a higher frequency. I did. We connected good. This is why sex is dangerous. Because it manipulates your emotions and it numbs your mind where you're not thinking with clarity, you're thinking through how you feel. The feelings are so strong until your feelings will literally talk you out of what your mind has reason. Can't do it. Keep your clothes on. You go to giving your fruitcake away. Ladies, you give your pearls away. Those pearls of wisdom will haunt you in the future. Fellas, some of y'all fellas, I feel something. Fellas, you pass and you can't do it, bros. I'm going to try and be nice. You can't do it. Let me pause and can I take a little parenthetical deviation just for a second? How is it that the guys, the little men of the world, the ugly dude, how y'all the one cheating? Okay, all right, I got that off me. I'm done. I'm not going to say. Anyway, your heart and your head, there has to be harmony. They have to be together. You know, you need to be able to think with clarity about where you place your heart, your mind, your will, your emotions. You cannot establish health in the environment that made you sick. You got to leave it, redo it, get rid of it, and start over. And that's what many of us are afraid. We're afraid of starting over. Now let me read some of these comments. That's right, Rhonda Oliver. Rhonda Oliver says, no more one-sided friendships, relationships. That's exactly right. Tina McFiction says, detox. Get rid of the toxin. That's exactly right. Vanessa Robinson says, this is right on time. I'm going on 2 years now, but initially thought only 1 year was needed. Getting out of bad relationships, it's important to take time to heal. Because here's what happens. You allow a person to break you down. You've absorbed their toxins from their toxic behavior. Now that stuff is in you. You go into something new in a new environment and you sneeze and release the toxins that you picked up from something else. Quarantine yourself, heal first before you get involved in another relationship. Don't allow the person you're with to pay for what your past has done. That kind of poison begins to perpetuate through our community. And this is why there are no healthy relationships, or very few in some circles, because there are healthy relationships also. All right. Let's see here. You know why people settle? People settle because they get tired of searching. Searching requires intellect. It's work. It's searching requires you to think. Searching requires you to cancel. And in the process of searching, thinking, canceling, working, you're going to get tired. So don't make decisions when you're exhausted. I'm going to say it again. Don't. I never forget when I was a kid growing up, we would always wait till my mom got into bed before we would ask questions because we understood she was fatigued and that we would get a yes when she doesn't have strength. Now we couldn't articulate it, like that as kids, but we wait. We did. We wait or wait till she get on the phone and ask her a question because she's not thinking on all cylinders. I mean, we used to get her good. So much so that she would get mad at herself from some of the things that she said yes to, that she'd come back and chastise us. Well, Mama, you the one said yes. But I was on the phone and I wasn't thinking. Don't ask me nothing when I'm on the phone. She started creating these rules because we learned how to ride. Well, it's the same thing with you. You settle generally. You're fatigued. You're tired of searching. Yeah, you are. I know you don't want to admit to it, but you are. You're exhausted. You're exhausted. Because here's the deal. When you come to your senses and when your strength has been renewed, you start asking yourself, what was I thinking to even get involved? I know people that have gotten married, built families, had kids. And when that light bulb came on, they asked themselves, I don't even know how I'm married. We don't even think alike. There are situations where I've been exposed where the woman has had to be the man and the woman in the relationship. And when she comes to, it's like, I don't even know why I'm married. I don't know. And a lot of people marry under the notion of faith. They see God in an aspect of a person that causes them to not calculate who the person is in their entirety. They see that God part and they love it. He's godly, but the Negro lazy. Oh, we don't want to talk about it. He can get a prayer through, but he won't go to work. Oh, Pickett, you're hurting the people. Pickett, don't do it to him. So they marry from that one aspect, and when they get to understand who this person is in their entirety, they're filled with displeasure. Then they start recanting, rethinking. How, Sway? How did I get, or he put that thing on you and blew your back out and it felt so good until you accepted that part of him. But it's everything else. He doesn't help you. He doesn't have a relationship with his kids. Got baby mamas everywhere. And the only thing that you got out of the relationship is he threw your back out. I'll wait. I'll wait. All you got of it was temporary pleasure. You made a permanent decision from a pleasurable place. Listen, you can't make permanent decisions when you're intoxicated with the feeling. You can't even, in the state of Florida, you can't even buy a gun. I don't think you do it in the U.S. You can't buy a gun. There's a 3-day cooling period. They don't know why you're buying this gun. So they're going to make you wait 3 days to think this thing through. Just in case you're buying a gun to take somebody out, in 3 days, they believe that you can recant your decision. So they make you wait. Why are you waiting or rushing to make decisions? It's because you're intoxicated with the feeling. That impulse in that moment is causing you to not think things with clarity. You're moving through the brain and the mind of your emotions. And you disable, you've paralyzed. Your brain that does the thinking is paralyzed. Because it feels so good. Feels good. Yeah. You can't do it, man. You gotta You got to wait. Get around people that help you think things through. So today, our title is Don't Discredit Your Ability. But in order to get to a healthy place where you can appreciate your ability, able to. Ability comes from the word able. I'm able to be great, so that makes my ability great. But I'll never see the strength or the gold in my ability if I don't understand how able I am, and my ability to see how able I am is contingent on how I think and feel about me. Some of us hold people hostage in relationships. And then we make a plea through our emotions to get them back after we've abused them emotionally. There's more than one type of abuse. We know the physical. We understand physical abuse, but there's emotional abuse. There's verbal abuse. There's emotional abuse that is predicated on me knowing what a person needs and using their needs against them to get my needs fulfilled. And men do this through ego, because we want our ego stroked. Because we're not secure in us, then every time that woman gets around someone who we think, we feel like there's something going on. So now there's a mirage of questionings. It's almost like we interrogate the person we're with. Who's that? Why you talking to them? What's going on with y'all? Nothing's going on. Why y'all texting? Because I'm trying to get my check. So there are men and women who operate in insecurity, and insecurity becomes the substratum for how they build, the foundation for how they build everything, how they think, how they move. Everything is done from that insecure place. So I was in a relationship with the same young lady I was telling y'all about. She was just very insecure. And it was confusing, because it was one of the best relationships I've ever had, because she was so sweet, but she was so insecure. And I live a very public life, which means I'm interacting with people all the time. And I never forget, listen, my cousin, my first cousin, who I hadn't seen in about 2 or 3 years, I ended up seeing her. I hugged her and held her, because this is my biological cousin that my mama raised. Held her for a long time. Like, where have you been? You know, things were going on, family stuff, whatever. And in the moment, I forgot my girlfriend was with me. In that moment, I was so happy to see my cousin, my sister, who my mama raised. I forgot my girlfriend was with me. So in forgetting my girlfriend is with me, my mind and everything, I'm glad you're alive. I'm glad you're looking good. You don't look anorexic, so that means you're eating. And in that moment, maybe that moment was about 2 minutes. And when I came to, I'm like, oh, let me introduce you to my girl. And I reached for her, and I'm like, hey, babe, come meet. And she snatched off and walked off. Well, you didn't give me an opportunity, because you're reacting from your emotion. Now, if the girl didn't know who she was, does it look suspicious? Yes. But have I given you a reason to be suspicious, and I'm going to hug her in front of you? Man, you got to keep your emotions under control, practice emotional intelligence, and give the person an opportunity to unpack what's going on before you jump to conclusions based on the poison and the insecurity that is in your heart. Has nothing to do with me. In that situation, that had nothing to do with me. She's reacting off of her insecurity. And then she tried to pin her insecurity on me. Well, I feel better if you make me feel better. How's somebody going to make you feel secure? I can do everything you want. Give you all the passwords. She had access to everything. Had a key to my house. We rocking. And you still don't feel secure. Because I can't make you secure. Another person can't make you secure. It's either you're secure or you're insecure. That's on you. Now, I can be a secure person and hook up with someone that's insecure, and their insecurity begins to bleed on me. Israel Morgan L says you should have introduced your girl first. No, that's not the frame of mind that I was in. If my girl was secure, it wouldn't have been a problem. See, insecure people perpetuate their insufficiencies on you. That didn't come to my mind. We were leaving an event. Everybody was pulling on me. I'm taking pictures and all this stuff. My girl's on the side. And I see my cousin who I hadn't seen in 2 or 3 years. And the reason it was such a shock, we thought she was dead. She had been missing. And I see her. In that moment, I couldn't think. So you can't penalize me for not introducing my girl first when that wasn't on my mind. There has to be grace. Grace gives space for things to happen. And we can unpack it later. I think a lot of times we walk around with all of the answers and we forget that people are human. And emotions cause us to forget. In that moment of seeing my cousin, who I hadn't seen, who's been missing, who nobody knew anything about, I lost my mind in that moment. I was overwhelmed with joy and sorrow. And it was so many things going through my head. It was just good to see my cousin. And when I came to, I'm like, oh, let me introduce you to my girl. And my girl pulled off and walked off. There's no justification for that. The problem with us, we don't trust ourselves. We're insecure. So we create rules that other people should live by to comfort our insecurity. So no, I don't agree with you there. You should have introduced your girl first. That's not courteous. That's insecurity. No, my girl, I've never cheated on her. Why don't you believe in me? Because if that would have happened to her, and it has happened, I never forget, we were somewhere and she saw one of her college buddies. They hugged, they talked. I don't care. I'm secure in me. I stood there, smiled, let him talk. Then she introduced me. Shook his hand like a man. What up, bro? Good to see you. I ain't got nothing against him. Y'all hadn't seen each other. I'm sure in me. Even if y'all cheating, it's going to come out. And what happens to us because of the sickness that is in us, we perpetuate that behavior on other people. Yes, but it does get exhausting. Managing other people's emotions all the time. It does. That's it, Pickett. Insecure people are the hardest to please, no matter what you do. You can't please an insecure person. They're going to write the recipe that fits their poison. And sometimes it's unreal. I think it's unreal, the task that we put on other people. One of my mentors growing up, used to tell me all the time. He said, if you understand a person's heart, you will never misinterpret their actions. I want to unpack that and then I'm out of here. One of my mentors taught me, if you understand a person's heart, he said, you'll never misunderstand, you'll never misinterpret their actions. And what he was saying is, you don't be with someone that you can't believe the best by. We're supposed to think the best of people first. A person shouldn't have to prove to us who they are first. Everybody deserves the benefit of the doubt. Even the law says you're innocent till proven guilty. So what happens a lot of times in relationships, We believe the worst about ourselves, so we believe the worst about people, and we don't give them the benefit of the doubt. We don't. We don't. Well, what if they cheated on you before? So that means you're still living there. There are decisions that we have to make, and a lot of times the decisions are tough. If a person has been unfaithful to you and unloyal, they ripped a part of you, and it's not fair, it's not right. But if you decide to stay, there are risks involved. Forgiveness is releasing. Yeah, they cheated on me in the past. The girl that I was with that I'm talking about, she cheated on me. I forgave her. But you can't bring that before her every time she's in conversation or on the phone or on the text. If I got to go through all that, we don't need to be together. No. You're not going to interrupt my peace. And when I got into a place where I was tired of the relationship, tired of trying to prove to you I'm faithful when you the one been unfaithful, girl, bye. It's like Vanessa said, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. And you know what we do with exhaust, don't you? We get rid of it. The exhaust that comes out of your car, it's already burned. So no one should have to live with toxic people who are insecure, and they perpetuate what's in them and place it on you and make you live up to a standard that's in their head. No, even in relationships, you need to know two things. Number one, I'm grown, and so are you. As an adult, I can talk to who I want to talk to. If I love you, I respect you, I bring you in with me. But I am grown. And I think what happens in relationships, especially marriages, we cross lines we shouldn't cross because we disrespect the adult in the person that we're with. If I'm with you and I love you and I trust you, I have to trust that you're capable of making fluent decisions. Now, my inability to trust you in making the correct decisions has more to do with either something you've done in the past, something I'm doing right now, or how I'm wired and how I think. But in relationships, marriages, you got to understand people are grown. You don't talk to grown people in a kind of way. We get familiar with each other because we get to know each other because we do life together. So we feel comfortable now with treating each other in a kind of way, and we can't do that. There's a courteous, being courteous comes with respect. And it works on both sides. Going back to what Israel Don said, being courteous works both ways. So as a courtesy, I need to tell my girl who this is I'm hugging because it is a woman, right? That's being courteous. That's right. It's the right thing to do because my girl is also my protector. Here's how courtesy works on the other end. As a courtesy to me, she needs to believe the best about me. And I know this joke ain't finna hug and hold this girl. I'm standing right here. He gonna disrespect me in front of my face. But because she's courteous to me, she should understand, okay, there is something here. Let me just hang around and see what's going on. That's us being courteous to each other. It was my cousin. Now, when we got to the car, opened the door for her, I said, I wanted to introduce you. That's my first cousin. It's the sister. It's the one my mama raised. Matter of fact, the one I told you that's been missing, that's her. Here's the picture right here. I shouldn't have to go through all that. Not if you're being courteous and trusting me. So I believe if you have a problem with trust, you don't need to be in a relationship. You don't. Because relationships are built off trust. If you're missing a component of trust, and you can't trust because you're thinking the worst, you don't need to be involved. You don't. You need to be on some island, you don't need to get involved. A part of being in a relationship is I trust you to respect me. whether I am with you in person or I'm absent. I'm getting in this relationship because I agree that you're going to respect me. And I think we have to go back to the basis of defining relationships and what they should be, because when you're constantly living up under the shadow of an insecure person, it wears you out and tears you down, so much so you begin to question your own gifts and abilities that you were fluent in before you hooked up with this knucklehead. So that Saturday morning's coffee time. Hey, would you all do me a favor? Would you go to my YouTube page, please, and subscribe to my channel, like the bell, so that when I go live, you can watch me on YouTube as well. I need your help in that. Please, if this has done anything to help you, to bless you, maybe open your eyes, or just remind you of what's right, pay me back by going to my YouTube channel. Hit the subscription. If you don't have YouTube, join it so you can subscribe to my channel. It's Terrance Pickett's Coffee Time. I appreciate you all for coming over and spending this time with me. Without your ear, I don't have a voice. You make this possible. As long as you come, I'm going to try to be here. Remember, you were born to win, predestined to succeed. There's nothing that can happen to you today that the wisdom on the inside can't handle. You got to calm down, slow down, be quiet, use emotional intelligence, trust God in all things, and let wisdom speak. When wisdom speaks, you will always win. Have a great day, everybody. Happy Saturday. And always remember to think higher, speak life. Peace out. Thank you all. I appreciate you. Love you much. Bye.